COUNTIF is another really useful function that comes built in. I find it useful if I'm counting up things like how many males or females are in the class, or how many people passed or failed, or as in this example, how many people got A's, B's or C's. So to do this, you type in equals to tell it it's going to accept a formula. Type in COUNTIF, open your brackets. Now you'll notice that you get a little bit of a hint here. Range is what it wants to look at, so we're going to look at these cells here, this range, and then we need to do a comma. Now because we're going to use a letter, we're going to say if it's an A, we've actually got to use inverted commas or speech marks. We're going to put A in there, close it up. It doesn't make a difference if it's a capital or lowercase, it will still look for it for you. You're going to close your bracket and press enter. So again, that's equals COUNTIF, open brackets, tell it the range, comma, this time it's a B. And you can just continue that on here. In the next activity, we're going to do something called absolute cell referencing. What we have here is some numbers and we want to multiply them by A. So equals that number multiplied by A. Now I don't have to type that in over and over again, so we use something called, I'm going to use the fill handle. So I'm going to grab the corner and drag it down. Now unfortunately, each of these isn't multiplying by the 56. It is, if you notice in here, saying A6, but this time it's multiplying by H6, which is this number here. And the same thing is happening here. It's multiplying the cell, the correct cell, but it's multiplying it by H7 this time, and the rest of them are 0 as it's multiplying by these cells. Now, if we put a $sign before the A and a dollar sign before the H, as this is the cell we absolutely always want to refer to, so I'm going to put a $sign in before the H, a $sign before the 5, and press enter. So we've got H5, grab the fill handle this time and drag down. And what it does, if you look here, we've got A5 multiplied by H5, A6 multiplied by H5, A7. So it's using these numbers here, but because I've told it to always refer to this cell using the absolute cell referencing, it'll always keep these the same. Equals that cell multiplied by, this time the B. Press enter. A shortcut to getting the $signs in is if you press F4 and it will convert it for you. Press enter and you can replicate down. Once you finish that, again you can colour the cell. Now we look at the if statements. These are quite useful. You'll have noticed in my first spreadsheet's basic cell, there's actually an if statement in here, which is how I get it to say correct. So if they get the correct answer here, it's going to say correct. With the if statements, what we want to happen is, if this cell says 3, we want this to say this is 3. So we type in an equals and an if, and we open our brackets. Now, the first thing is the test. So if this equals 3, that's the test part done. Then you need to put a comma in. If that's true, we want it to say this is 3. That's the value of true. Then again, we do another comma to break up and move into the next bit. And what happens if it's false? This time, we'll just say this is not 3. Close my speech marks. Again, we've got to use our speech marks because these are not numbers. We have to indicate that it's text. So we use that speech marks with that. Close my bracket, press enter. And it says this is 3. If I type in 7, it'll say this is not 3. And you can see an example of it working there if you just need a little bit of a hand. You're going to continue on down here, filling in the green cells and following the instructions.